Now at 9, volunteers team up to help a Joplin resident with disabilities. Plus, 13 seniors officially commissioned as military officers ready to begin their careers. And over 130 nursing students are honored in a traditional pinning ceremony, marking the end of their studies and the start of their careers in healthcare.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Joplin Humane Area Habitat for Humanity is encouraging community members to apply for a program that could help with home improvement needs. With the help of volunteers, A Brush with Kindness helps take care of exterior projects some may not have the financial or physical ability to address. KOAM Samantha Walker has more.
Volunteers have joined together to help make sure one Joplin resident with disabilities has a safe ramp to use at her home. For those participating, the work is a way to give back.
It's our job to find projects where they can put those good intentions to work.
The workday is part of the Joplin Area Habitat for Humanity's A Brush with Kindness program, which they're encouraging more people to apply to. Under that program, they hope to help homeowners who are older, physically disabled, or a veteran with exterior home improvement projects. It could be anything from painting to yard work.
It'll be lighter things because the people who generally call us up, they used to be able to do yard work and they can't. Or they've had a situation where maybe their fence or maybe their handrails have gone downhill a little bit. So we'll come in and replace those. So it's lighter work, but you can still make a big difference with good volunteers.
He emphasizes the Brush with Kindness program helps with exterior projects that volunteers of any skill level can help with. Volunteers with Habitat, Hearts and Hammers, and the Mercy Orthopedic Hospital and Clinic join to help with the workday, knowing that even small projects can have a big impact.
Today is really just a day about giving back some service to this lady that needs this. Her yard was kind of overgrown and a mess. We had a tree down over the barn, and we had to fix her wheelchair ramp into her front door. We're not building a brand new home. We're really just fixing this one up to help this lady out.
Since 2013, the Joplin Area Habitat for Humanity has done about 450 improvements, and they hope to do a lot more.
We have a responsibility to be productive and to be there for homeowners who have needs with their homes. And we have a lot of great partners too, a lot of awesome volunteers.
As a healthcare giver with Mercy, we take care of patients every day. This is a little bit different. We're still taking care of people, but we're out in the community helping people that need help.
Reporting in Joplin, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Even if you're unsure if you qualify for A Brush with Kindness, the Joplin Area Habitat for Humanity says it doesn't hurt to reach out. You can find more on how to apply for the program on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, it's graduation weekend for many seniors in high school and college, including ROTC cadets at Pittsburgh State University. This morning, 13 cadets became officers, marking their official start of their military careers in a commissioning ceremony. The event represents years of the individual's hard work and the beginning of their journey as an officer.
My dad actually got his commission through Pitt State too, so it's a big honor to have him here and follow my dad's footsteps.
Family and friends were invited to attend the ceremony. Let's go ahead and check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for our first look at weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice Friday for us today, but the weather picking up as we head into the weekend. Now, Saturday is going to be fine. Saturday evening into the overnight hours, showers and some scattered thunderstorms. Low severe threat, but it is there. Thunderstorms to start the day on Sunday, and then a severe threat really picks up Sunday afternoon and evening. A lot of question marks. It's a conditional threat, and then another severe threat as we go into Monday as well. So Saturday, we're kind of on that northern fringe. On Sunday, higher threat once you get into our western counties, but anything that does get going has a chance to rotate. So we got to keep our eyes on that. Let's go into Saturday evening. Hit and miss scattered thunderstorms. If anything would be severe, it would be mainly a wind and a hail threat. We're going to break this all down for you here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thanks. Allo Fiber hosted a ribbon cutting ceremony at its Joplin office today. The company is currently busy in Newton County installing a fiber optic network for businesses and the community. Today's event gave the public a chance to come out and meet Allo representatives, local businesses, and Chamber of Commerce members. Black Market Fireworks in Joplin kicks off their season by inviting the public to a display. The show will feature new fireworks on the market that will be available this season. Food trucks and other vendors also set up to sell their items. The owner of Black Market Fireworks says the event has gotten bigger and bigger every year.
People come together, and some of our wholesale people meet with the general public and tell them all about us and some of the products we have. It's a pretty cool deal how everybody mingles together on this.
Coming up, Trump's new trade deal.
President Trump says the clock is ticking on countries to make new trade deals or risk higher tariffs. I'm Connor Hansen in New York. I'll have the details coming up.
But up first, feeling overwhelmed by life and the world around you? Experts say there is a way to take back control, and it starts with small daily habits that can boost your mental health and happiness. Psychologists say it can be easy to feel lost and sad in a world filled with chaotic events. To help find control and increase joy, experts are sharing strategies to help rewire your life and brain. Fox News' Gary Baumgarten has a more look.
Given all the responsibilities most of us have, life can get pretty overwhelming, let alone all the external factors nationwide and abroad that can compound the chaos.
Many of us feel like our lives and the broader world are out of our control.
Psychology experts like Dr. Heather Lench of Texas A&M University say it's easier to stay on the sunny side by grounding yourself in tasks you'll actually have control over.
So if we focus on controlling the controllables, that can help improve our mental and physical health.
And while work and daily events can sometimes negatively impact our moods, experts say it's even more critical to do things that spark joy and meaning.
Anything that you find meaningful and that you're choosing to engage in can help you feel like the world is within your control and that you have the skills to do well in the world.
But Dr. Lunch says happiness isn't guaranteed to last. It's something we must always be working towards.
Seeking happiness is building a habit. It is a habit that you build through the ways that you are thinking and the ways that you're behaving each and every moment. And so intentionally building those habits and identifying the ones that you want to work on is one path towards seeking greater happiness.
Meanwhile, once you feel joy, experts say you can actually enhance that emotion over time.
Finding those small moments of joy build up over time, and it creates what's sometimes called a positive feedback loop, where once you experience a little bit of joy, you seek out that next moment of joy.
Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
Also being recognized this afternoon at PSU, graduating nursing students. A nursing pinning ceremony recognized more than 130 students from the Irene Ransom Bradley School of Nursing. The ceremony signifies the end of a student's program. It also is their official initiation into the profession. The EPA says it plans to roll back part of the Biden administration's limits on toxic forever chemicals in drinking water. The Trump administration wants to reconsider restrictions on 4 PFA chemicals, still used by some companies, despite links to cancer and other health issues. Testing shows PFAs in nearly half of U.S. water supplies. Limits on 2 common types, PFOA and PFOS, will stay in place, but water systems are getting more time to comply. As the summer break nears, parents worry about kids' mental health, from too much screen time to lack of structure. A survey shows half of parents are as concerned about their children's well-being now as during school. Excessive screen time and boredom can lead to anxiety, depression, and sleep problems. Experts suggest letting screen time limits and encouraging active or creative activities to help kids stay healthy. Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, a new warning from the United Nations why global growth is slowing down and what it could mean for the U.S. economy.
It turned out to be a nice Friday for us today. We did have a few hit and miss storms in southwestern Missouri during the morning hours, but that has all pushed off toward the east. Big time severe weather eastern parts of Missouri into the Ohio River Valley due to this big upper level low spinning across the northern plains. We aren't watching that though. We're watching this. Here's our next storm system pushing into the Rockies, and this will give us multiple days of a severe threat. across the region, which we got to keep our eyes on. So let's go ahead and break it down. Let's go into Saturday. This is isolated severe storms, and this is mainly going to be after 7 p.m. We're kind of on the northern fringe of that threat. If we got anything, main threat is hail and wind. Now, a little bit of a change on Sunday. This is a conditional threat, meaning we have a capped environment. If that cap can break, a cap is warm air aloft, then all modes of severe weather, mainly after 4 p.m. on Sunday. But if that cap stays in place, then we're not going to get much in the way of thunderstorms. So a lot to watch as we go into Sunday. All right, let's go through the weekend first, then we'll talk about Monday. So through the night, we're fine. Actually, a nice night. Mid-50s for overnight lows. Mid and upper level clouds increase tomorrow. If you need to mow, get outside, do yard work, tomorrow is the day to do it. Near 80. Here's 5 p.m. Let's go into the evening. Scattered thunderstorms. Again, some of these could be stronger, low-grade severe hail and wind threat. Here's 9:30 p.m. One batch pushes through, and then I think a cluster is going to drop through after midnight, and again, a wind and a hail threat with those. Then we go into Sunday morning. Start with scattered thunderstorms. Most of the day dry. Now let's go into Sunday afternoon. If we can get through that cap, isolated supercells, and some of these could work in, especially southeastern Kansas, southwest Missouri, north of I-44, and then thunderstorms kind of building in as we go through the night. So we want to watch Sunday evening and Sunday night very closely across the region. Haven't even talked about Monday. Monday also at least a moderate threat for severe weather across the region. And again, all modes of severe weather are possible as we get into Monday. So let's look at it. Thunderstorms to start the day. I think these thunderstorms will develop earlier in the day compared to what we could see on Sunday. So we're looking at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Supercells popping up. We got to see exactly where, but the ones that do get going could be strong to severe. And again, we're going to have that tornado threat as we go into the daytime hours on Monday. Most of the weekend looks good during the days. It's the evening and the nights. 80 on Saturday. Let's go 83 on Sunday, of course. We have that severe threat. So we're going to make Sunday and Monday alert days with that higher severe threat. And then still some morning thunderstorms on Tuesday. And then we actually cool down a bit by Wednesday and get a nice little stretch as we work our way into Memorial Weekend. Anthony?
All right, Doug, thanks. Well, severe storms are slamming the south on Friday. After whipping up tornadoes across the central U.S., it comes as multiple states are also battling wildfires. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more.
Flooding rain and gusty winds moving south after pummeling the central U.S. on Thursday. Folks across the region now surveying the damage.
Glass was breaking. I mean, the hail was the size of my fist.
The National Weather Service says the storms whipped up nearly a dozen reported tornadoes in Minnesota and Wisconsin. The conditions knocked over trees and power lines, forcing major highways to close and damaging homes.
A disaster zone. I got a tree pulled out of the ground here. That tree there came from across the street. All those trees are down.
But for crews trying to contain 3 massive wildfires, the rain was a relief. Fire officials say the flames have burned more than 30,000 acres, about the same size as the city of Minneapolis. And they're asking for people to get ready to evacuate.
Try to put your most important things together, of course, and pretty soon you realize you can't take everything with you.
We saw some smoke, and then when we come back home, then it was already going.
Further west, gusty winds are still driving the Greer fire in Arizona. With another active wildfire season expected, state officials are urging folks to prepare by removing any brush or trees from around their homes.
We're going to start seeing more wildfires. There's probably no doubt about that. So there's urgency now.
Forecasters say the severe weather threat will shift to the northeast over the weekend, bringing the potential for damaging wind gusts, hail, and possible tornadoes. In New York, Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Coming up, President Trump returning after a trip to the Middle East.
President Trump wraps up a whirlwind trip to the Middle East, and he's making news by announcing the U.S. has sent a proposal for a nuclear deal with Iran. I'm Rebecca Castor in Washington with the details coming up.
President Trump says trade deals still need to be made with 150 different countries. And if they don't come to the table soon, the White House will set the rate for them. Fox News' Connor Hansen has more.
150 countries that want to make a deal, but you're not able to see that many countries.
After spending the week in the Middle East signing deals, President Trump says other countries are running out of time. Soon, the White House trade team will set new tariff rates for them, leaving the door open to renegotiating later.
It would be very fair, but we'll be telling people what they'll be paying to do business in the United States.
Under the current tariffs, American companies are starting to feel the pinch. Even the world's largest retailer, Walmart, says it will start raising prices. But small businesses say they're the ones feeling the brunt of the White House's trade policy.
Small businesses matter, and the ripple effects of national policy decisions often land hardest on those trying to make an honest living at the local level.
One Democratic senator plans to introduce a bill to exempt small businesses from the tariffs.
This administration's yo-yo tariff policies have changed more than 50 times since he took office. Businesses are hesitant to place orders not knowing what tariffs will be weeks or months from now.
On paper, the U.S. economy appears to be holding strong, but the University of Michigan's Index of Consumer Sentiment shows Americans feel worse about the economy for the 5th straight month. President Trump says they will start to notify countries of their new tariff rates in the next 2 to 3 weeks. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
A new report says Americans will spend a record $784 on average to cool their homes from June to September, up more than 4% from last year. The National Energy Assistance Directors Association blames rising electricity prices and another hot summer ahead. The group says 1 in 6 Americans are already behind on their energy bills. Residents in New England and the Midwest could see the biggest increases, while people in the Pacific region may actually pay less. Rite Aid is clearing its shelves. The bankrupt company has almost most of its pharmacy services nationwide to rival CVS, Albertsons, Kroger, and Walgreens. The CEO of Rite Aid says the sell-off will benefit its pharmacy customers and preserve jobs for Rite Aid employees. CVS made the most purchases, picking up prescription files for more than 600 locations in 15 states. Earlier this month, Rite Aid filed for bankruptcy for the second time. It came only months after the chain left a previous Chapter 11 process and became a private company. Just Rite Aid currently has just over 1,200 operating stores, which is about half of what it had 2 years ago. Up next, fire up the grill. Friday is National Barbecue Day. We're taking a bite out of the history behind this flavorful tradition. Head into the weekend by firing up the grill. Friday is National Barbecue Day, celebrating meals cooked over charcoal, wood, or gas. Many grillers have their own special barbecue sauce recipe, but many feature a mixture of ketchup, mustard, Worcestershire sauce, brown sugar, soy, and molasses. Historians say the first documentation of barbecue was on the island of Hispaniola, and there's proof Christopher Columbus saw indigenous tribes were there cooking meat over an open flame. As for the U.S., residents across the Southeast often brag about their respective barbecue styles, but it reportedly originated in North Carolina. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Coming up, tensions rise as Putin skips peace talks in Istanbul, and now former President Trump says only he can bring Putin to the table. Plus, President Trump returns from a high-stakes trip to the Middle East, claiming big wins and a possible breakthrough on a new nuclear deal with Iran.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
The first direct talks between Russia and Ukraine fizzled out after only 2 hours, with no breakthroughs reported. Fox News' Steve Harrigan has more from Istanbul.
Putin is not serious about peace. He's been dragging his heels.
World leaders are heavily criticizing Russia's president for skipping peace talks held today here in Istanbul. Instead, Vladimir Putin sent a low-level delegation, and the negotiations ended after a few hours with no progress reported. President Trump now says only a meeting between he and Putin can stop the fighting.
If I don't go, I guarantee Putin's not going. And he didn't go, and I understand that, but we're going to get it. We're going to get it done. We got to get it done.
And some experts say that meeting with Trump could be what Putin was looking for all along. World leaders have accused him of stalling as the fighting in Ukraine intensifies, and he could be looking for a better deal at one-on-one talks with Trump as opposed to trilateral negotiations with Ukraine involved.
Putin has really slithered around. He's really been holding out. I think that Russia also wants some behind-the-scenes economic deals. They want sanctions relief.
But these are the first face-to-face talks between Ukraine and Russia since 2022. And while expectations for a breakthrough remain low, diplomats are hoping it will pave the way for more talks in the coming weeks.
There are two roads at this stage. One road will start a process that will lead us to peace. The other will to more destruction and loss of life.
Trump has said that one-on-one meeting with Putin could happen very soon. In Istanbul, Steve Harrigan, Fox News.
The United Nations is sounding the alarm on the global economy. Its latest report warns that tariffs and geopolitical uncertainty are driving up production costs and disrupting supply chains, leading many businesses to delay or cut back on investments. Global GDP is now projected to grow just 2.4% this year, down from 2.9% last year. The U.S. is expected to take a hit, with growth slowing from 2.8% to 1.8%. China, Brazil, Mexico, and South Africa are also expected to see a slowdown. President Donald Trump is headed home after a whirlwind trip to the Middle East, where he was greeted with spectacular fanfare. He's hoping his popularity spreads across the region, even to Iran, as he tries to negotiate a nuclear deal. Fox's Rebecca Castor has more from Washington.
President Donald Trump is on his way home after a historic trip to the Middle East, filled with lavish receptions, royal camels, and multi-billion-dollar investments in U.S. business ventures.
Somebody's going to be taking the credit for this. You remember, press. This guy did it.
The president is reveling in the wins from his first major overseas trip of his second term, but his progress goes beyond the Arabian Peninsula. Trump also confirmed the U.S. sent Iran a proposed nuclear deal, a major step forward as the White House aims to stop Tehran from developing a nuclear weapon.
They have a proposal, but more importantly, they know they have to move quickly, or something bad's going to happen.
I really hope that Iran looks at the approach of President Trump in such an opening of the United States towards the Iranian people, which could be very much beneficial for the Iranians, but it's for the Iranian people to make.
According to the United Nations nuclear watchdog, Iran's stockpile of 60% enriched uranium has alarmingly grown from 401 pounds to 606 pounds this year.
If they stockpile enough of that 60% enriched, they could very quickly turn it into 90 and weaponize it. That's the danger we face right now. That's the urgency here.
Trump says Iran has, quote, sort of agreed to the terms. If a deal is reached, the president plans to lift all sanctions on the country. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Doug is next with another look at your forecast. Plus, a love that transcends this world. One widower's promise to his late wife to launch her final wish into the stars.
It turned out to be a nice Friday for us today. We did have a few hit-and-miss storms in southwestern Missouri during the morning hours, but that has all pushed off toward the east. Big-time severe weather eastern parts of Missouri into the Ohio River Valley due to this big upper-level low spinning across the northern plains. We aren't watching that, though. We're watching this. Here's our next storm system pushing into the Rockies, and this will give us multiple days of a severe threat across the region, which we got to keep our eyes on. So let's go ahead and break it down. Let's go into Saturday. This is isolated severe storms, and this is mainly going to be after 7 p.m. We're kind of on the northern fringe of that threat. If we got anything, main threat is hail and wind. Now, a little bit of a change on Sunday. This is a conditional threat, meaning we have a capped environment. If that cap can break, a cap is warm air aloft, then all modes of severe weather, mainly after 4 p.m. on Sunday. But if that cap stays in place, then we're not going to get much in the way of thunderstorms. So a lot to watch as we go into Sunday. All right, let's go through the weekend first, then we'll talk about Monday. So through the night, we're fine. Actually, a nice night. Mid-50s for overnight lows. Mid and upper level clouds increase tomorrow. If you need to mow, get outside, do yard work, tomorrow is the day to do it. Near 80. Here's 5 p.m. Let's go into the evening. Scattered thunderstorms. Again, some of these could be stronger, low-grade severe hail and wind threat. Here's 9:30 p.m. One batch pushes through, and then I think a cluster is going to drop through after midnight, and again, a wind and a hail threat with those. Then we go into Sunday morning, start with scattered thunderstorms, most of the day dry. Now let's go into Sunday afternoon. If we can get through that cap, isolated supercells, and some of these could work in, especially southeastern Kansas, southwest Missouri, north of I-44, and then thunderstorms kind of building in as we go through the night. So we want to watch Sunday evening and Sunday night very closely across the region. Haven't even talked about Monday. Monday also at least a moderate threat for severe weather across the region. And again, all modes of severe weather are possible as we get into Monday. So let's look at it. Thunderstorms to start the day. I think these thunderstorms will develop earlier in the day compared to what we could see on Sunday. So we're looking at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Supercells popping up. We got to see exactly where, but the ones that do get going could be strong to severe. And again, we're going to have that tornado threat as we go into the daytime hours on Monday. Most of the weekend looks good during the days. It's the evening and the nights. 80 on Saturday. Let's go 83 on Sunday, of course. We have that severe threat. So we're going to make Sunday and Monday alert days with that higher severe threat. And then still some morning thunderstorms on Tuesday. And then we actually cool down a bit by Wednesday and get a nice little stretch as we work our way into Memorial Weekend. Anthony?
All right, Doug, thanks. Still ahead, multiple Gorillas earn spots on the All-Central Region team. Plus, our Coxie baseball looks to advance to the district tournament semifinals. Ben McLeish has those stories and more up next in sports.
Pittsburgh State baseball began the NCAA tournament with a bang. The Gorillas crushed Henderson State 18-5 in the first game of the regional yesterday. This evening, we were supposed to get a matchup between Pitt State and Arkansas Monticello, who beat Minnesota State Mankato in the other game yesterday. However, this one gets postponed because of rain and will get played on Saturday at 4. However, the All-Central Region teams get released today. 4 Gorillas are on the list. First baseman Dagan Brewer and starting pitcher Colby Dugan are both on the first team. Outfielders Alex Rogers and starting pitcher Maddox Thornton are both on the second team All-Region. Playoffs for high school softball in Kansas are right around the corner, and most of our local teams get started next week. This afternoon, though, 2 of them meet up for the regular season finale. Beautiful day for softball in Pittsburgh as Colgan hosts Iola for a doubleheader. Zoe Hesse gets the start in the circle for the Mustangs, and she's in the zone early. Bottom of the first inning, she strikes out the side to keep us scoreless. And that'd be a sign of things to come. Top of the second, Kendall Bycroft at the plate. Slices one down the line in right field. That's a fair ball, and it'll score the first run of the game. Mustangs jump out to a 1-0 lead on that RBI double. Next batter, Alana Bader skies it into the gap in right center. That gets down and bounces over the fence for a ground rule double. Bycroft can take her time crossing the plate. It's 2-0 Mustangs. And Hesse gets right back to work in the circle. In the bottom of the third, she picks up 2 more swinging strikeouts. Hesse gets the win after pitching a complete game. Iola takes the front end of the doubleheader over Colgan. Final score 6-5. And it's not the Lady Panthers' day today. In the second game, Iola explodes for 14 runs to take down Colgan 14-2 in 6 innings. In Missouri, Sarcoxie takes on Southwest in the Class 3 District 11 quarterfinals. In the first, with runners on the corners, Caleb Chrisman finds the hole. The Bears strike first blood, and it's 1-0. Next inning, it's 2-0, and Carter Phillips lines this one over the head of the right fielder. 2 more runs come home, and Sarcoxie takes a 4-0 run after 2. In the 6th, the Bears are up 5-2, but Southwest loads the bases with 2 outs. Phillips is on the mound looking to escape the jam, and he gets the swinging strikeout. Just 3 more outs to go, but not before Lane Everts takes one deep to right. It's back to the wall, and the Bears tack on 2 more. Sarcoxy Best Southwest in the district quarterfinals. They earn themselves a date with Clever in the semis. Up in Kansas City, the Cardinals and Royals renew their rivalry this evening. Both of them come into tonight with relatively successful starts to the month of May. And the Cardinals get the best of KC in Game 1 of the series, putting up 10 runs on the Royals. That's 3 losses in a row for KC, and they will look to even up the series tomorrow at 6:15.
Well, all I have to say is good luck, because the Cardinals, John called it earlier, they're on a hot streak. What do you think of them? Yeah, the Cardinals are one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. They started off the season pretty slow, but now they're well above 500, and they're going to be fighting for that NL Central crown. I think they can manage it. It'll be, I would love to see, it's been 14 years since they got that World Series. It'd be cool to see them get it again. Yeah. So, all right, we'll be right back. A California woman will have an out-of-the-world experience in her afterlife. Her husband is sending his late wife's ashes into outer space, and she'll be going with a 4-legged family member. Ashley Sharp has more.
Welcome. Before we even sat down with Buzz Jones,
I don't want to be rude.
He introduced us to Connie.
This is Connie, and this is Ashley. They're from CBS, dear. Your favorite.
His sweetheart on the shelf. In black and white.
Yeah, she was so bright and so smart.
His wife of 30 years.
She was a prolific reader, and she liked science fiction. She'd tell me all sorts of things about Star Trek. She had a lot of the old memorabilia from Star Trek.
A fascination with the cosmos, a woman with her head in the clouds.
It makes me proud.
Before Connie passed of cancer, her dying wish was to take a trip to outer space. In her final moments, Buzz made a promise.
Connie, I've researched it. I'm sending you up. And she just she smiled. Couldn't say much.
The company, Celestis Inc., will launch its 24th memorial space flight this summer, when remains of lost loved ones get the send-off of a lifetime.
It's a lot like scattering ashes at sea or something like that, only we appeal to people that have always wanted to travel in space.
The mission behind the mission is embracing eternity with a bang.
There's this moment of joy and transformation at liftoff that's hard to put into words.
Her remains are going to go up and be one with time.
And Connie won't enter orbit alone. Her Cocker Spaniel,
this is Casey,
who died 2 decades ago, will accompany her for one final walk among the stars.
Up next, a 10-year-old survivor in the middle of an unthinkable tragedy. He shielded his little sister from a falling plane. Now, after months of surgeries and rehab, he shares his story of strength, recovery, and hope. We hear from a 10-year-old boy who survived the unthinkable. Andre Howard was inside a car with his family when a medical jet fell from the sky in Philadelphia, killing everyone on board and 2 people on the ground. In an exclusive interview, he shares his incredible story of survival, recovery, and resilience.
I just saw a big fire, and then my dad always told me to protect my little sister, so I just jumped on her.
Did you go to the left, you go to the right?
I went to the left.
And then did you feel anything like hit you or hit your body?
It felt like I had a throw up and I had a bad headache.
For the first time, we hear exclusively from 10-year-old Andre Howard. He was in the car with his father, younger brother, and sister when a medical jet fell from the sky, killing 6 on board and 2 on the ground at Cotman and Roosevelt Boulevard. Andre shielded his sister from the plane's debris.
The 2 large pieces went right here. They told me if Andre didn't lay his head, that spear would have went right through my baby girl.
Andre spent more than a month at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia undergoing surgeries and tests.
They told us he's going to be paraplegic because he didn't have no feeling. They would touch him, like do the sensation, he could not feel it. So as time went on, He like slowly started doing this.
With the left hand?
Started some moving his fingers, some moving his toes.
Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown even visited him in the hospital before he was discharged, giving him a boost of motivation.
Now, did you ever think that you would be able to recover the way that you have?
I think it's a new me.
This is a new you. How so?
Because I got better at my games and basketball.
Part of his physical therapy in the hospital including relearning how to walk. Now he's relearning fine motor skills on his left side, like brushing his teeth to tying a shoe.
Wow, against all odds.
I was trying to complete like a mission to work out and stuff. I had to learn how to eat again.
What is the message that you would like other people to know about how you have survived?
You gotta work hard and always protect people.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.